They say the main regrets of people when they're dying are that they didn't spend enough time with the people that they loved, and more importantly, that they didn't take the chances on the things that were important in their life. We think that we're going to get more time, but our lives are short. If you've got something important for you to do, you've got to take action because life won't change unless you do. Today, we're going to pick up our sandbags and we're going to talk about I am responsible. Because if you want something in your life, it's on you. First thing we're going to do, we're going to prime our minds before we move. Let's go. So if we're going to get working hard, we got to prime our minds before we get going. Set ourselves up for success by choosing our first thoughts of the day. So first thing you're going to do is put your feet underneath your hips. Find yourself in this passive squat position. If you feel like you're going to fall over, grab yourself a counterbalance. And we're going to be here for 2 minutes, opening up the hips, opening up the mind, and breathing. So we're going to go 4-second inhale, 4-second pause at the top, 4-second exhale, and then a 4-second pause at the bottom while we go through our mental reps. So go ahead with me and inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. I am responsible. Just the full theme for today. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. I will make time between stimulus and response. Inhale. Those exhale. Hold. Inhale. Oh God. Hold. Exhale. I have all I need to succeed and will focus on progress over perfection. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. I choose gratitude. All right. The dog is ready. I screwed that up a couple times, but no worries. All right. So next thing, we are going to start moving our body. We're going to get down and we're going to get up a few times here. Because if you can't get up, we got problems. So what we're going to do as we start every session with is just 2 minutes of burpees. You're going to lay yourself down on the floor all the way and then get back up. You can celebrate at the top the fact that you're successful in doing so. Not a bad idea. Give yourself some credit. And we're just going to move through this for 2 minutes. You can go nice and slow to start. You can increase the pace as you go. We're just first stage in getting prepared here. Just get the blood flowing. Get the joints moving a little bit. And then we've got our sandbag workout today. 20-25 minutes or so of hanging on to that thing. And we're going to listen to Jim Rohn a little bit today, who was Tony Robbins' mentor back in the day, and just very clear, concise way of saying, some things that'll get you moving, hopefully. So, let's get the blood flowing, and then we'll get into it. Hope you're all feeling fantastic this morning. Ready to go. Jason, equipment, and Jody, good morning. Another 50 seconds of burpees. And then we're up. After the session today, we'll be going vertical for some pistols. So feel free to come back, hang out for that afterwards. Getting our weekend started right. Another 20 seconds. A few more. If you're feeling better, you can pick up the pace a little bit. hop it back instead of stepping. Hop it back up if you want. All right. Next step. We'll just start off our hip flexion with some knee raises there. Starting to feel the hips turn on a little bit. Get maybe 10. Make sure you got some water with you. Ideally, we're not drinking coffee or something like that yet. If you're a coffee drinker, I know a lot of people talk about pre-workout and all those kinds of stimulants. You just sleep enough and exercise, shouldn't need too much of that. All right, feet underneath the hips. We're gonna go with a good morning. So just sending the hips back until you feel some tension. Posterior chain, the hamstrings, glutes, low back, and then stand and squeeze the butt. Push that range of motion a little bit as you warm up. Push the hips back. Feel that stretch. Squeeze the top. And then we'll go to our single leg. You could just hang out there. You could lower and raise the opposite hip, which I'm probably gonna do. Try some with the other leg behind you, some in front. Maybe 10 there as well. Switch it up. Give yourself a pat on the back for, not taking the weekend off, for showing up on Saturday when, many people shut it down on the weekend, and whatever their routine is during the week takes a weekend break. So if you're not taking that weekend break, good on you. Next, we're gonna go with just a step back lunge. So a nice long step such that you can kiss the back knee to the floor and then keep that front shin pretty vertical, the full foot planted on the ground. Let's get about 10 of those. A little more blood flowing in the legs. And from there, we'll get into thoracic spine rotations. So let's do that. We'll get down on all fours. And we're gonna go with our thread the needle. I'm starting to like this one. So you're gonna take one hand off the ground, bring it underneath between the hand and the knees. You can take the shoulder to the floor if you can, and then reach that arm to the ceiling. So shoulder to the floor, arm to the ceiling. I'll get at least 5 there. Got a nice tweak in my neck. Okay, Maple? Switch it up after that one. Hi, Maple. Oh, a little bit of tension in there this morning. Try to push them a little further on each one. Turning on the posterior shoulder, opening up that upper back. One more. And then we'll hop up to our feet for our first set of air squats. So feet underneath the shoulders, think hips down and back. Ideally till the hips are below the knees, as long as we can maintain a nice upright torso, neutral spine. There we go. Squats. Feeling good. Hopefully you too. Hit a little side to side there if you want. Open up those corners of the squat. All right, and then we'll get round 2. Starting to open up the hip with a little rotation here. So knee raise and turn. Think about stepping over the dog gate. If you don't have a dog gate, maybe you're stepping over a child, or dog, or sheep. Switch sides. Probably couldn't step over a sheep, they'd probably just run away from me. A couple more there. And then we'll go to our staggered stance. Good morning. So you're going to line up the toes with one foot with the heel of the other. And then same idea as our initial good morning. Just send the hips back. You're more or less straightening out the front leg, keeping the back knee bent, and then squeeze the hips to the top again. You can push that range, find some more stretch through that front hamstring. Squeeze the top. Switch it up. A little bit sniffly out here. Okay, from there we'll go to our single leg again. This time I like to do some hinges, a little bit of a golfer's deadlift. You can choose your range of motion a little bit or a little bit more. You can take it all the way to the floor if you're feeling up to it. I'll get, I don't know, 6 to 8 or so. Squeeze the butt again at the top. It's kind of just like a good morning as well. Go ahead and switch sides. Potentially notice that the balance is not quite as easy on one side. That's okay, just spend more time on that side. Do it more often there. So I'm gonna get a couple extra on this right side because it's my weak side, or less balanced side at least. Oh, I feel that in the hip. Okay, from there we're gonna go with our Spider-Man lunge. So go ahead and find yourself into your plank position. Take one foot outside the hands, and I like to press the knee forwards and slide it back. Press the knee forwards and then pull it back. At least 5 cycles there. This is one of my favorites. I really feel like I'm opening things up here. Let's switch sides. Oh yeah. Push it forwards, pull back, push the hips down. Sheesh, should have blown my nose. Okay, we'll switch sides again. We'll get one more per side here. I'm gonna get good and warmed up. Last one on this side. And we'll get our thoracic spine rotations and air squats. And then we're picking up our sandbags. Hopefully we've got something heavy enough to make this uncomfortable today. All right, next, we're just gonna do our thoracic extension or Superman or whatever you wanna call it. Arms are overhead. And you can keep the head down and lift from the shoulders, or add a little bit of extension as well through the chest, through the thoracic spine. You can even do both and then pulse the arms. Trying to get the arms right in line with the body. And then one more set of air squats. So feet back underneath the shoulders, hips back and down. Let's get 10. If we're gonna do pistols later, might as well get these warmed up a little bit, right? Okay, Whew. I forgot my Kleenex. All right, so let's talk about this a little bit. Simple. We do this every Saturday. We've got a topic that we're going to talk about. We're actually going to watch a little bit of video about that topic while we carry something heavy. So, potential options for heavy things might be like a medicine ball. This one's 30 pounds. You know, this would be a slight challenge. And just think about, we'll talk about what you can do with this thing. You can hold it like so, like a bear hug, which will impede the breathing a little bit, which is good. You can put it on one shoulder, on the other shoulder. I might end up doing something that looks like this for a little bit. Even though that looks like rest, it won't be. But you can carry it any way you'd like. The goal is just that it stays off the ground for the full time, that we're going through this. Medicine ball is a good option. A dumbbell, I don't know if you can even see that, could be a good option. Dumbbell, bigger dumbbell maybe. I mean, you could put a barbell on your front rack or on the back rack and hold it. You just might not be able to move around as well. A backpack full of weight could be a good option. I've heard some people talk about using a heavy punching bag. Throw that on your shoulders. You can put your kids, you can carry your dog as long as they don't go insane. But those are some options. So let's get a quick warm up here. I'm just gonna go over how to pick up a sandbag, carry it for a sec, maybe blow my nose, and then we'll get started here. So if you've already done that stuff, you can click the like button. Hit those reactions at the bottom a little bit if you want, and we'll get started in a minute here. So if you do have a sandbag and you want a little bit of technique, roll it back and forth, get the hands underneath it, and you're gonna deadlift it to the hips with a straight arm, wrap yourself around it, and then drive with the hips to bring it to the shoulder. You come back to the belly, and then bring it back to the shoulder from there. And those are kind of the positions that I'll go through. All right, I'm just gonna blow my nose and then we'll get started here. All right, let's do a quick audio check, make sure we didn't screw that up. Check. Nice. All right. So, c'est le temps. So let's get this here. Okay. That's straight here. Trust me. Come on now.
Take full responsibility.
Okay, we're almost there. Let me just get set up here. Okay, all right, we're gonna pick up our sandbags, set that clock to see how long we've been going, and then we're doing it. All right, team, got a couple little Jim Rohn clips here, and we are going to talk about if you've got goals in your life, it's time. See the clock there. All right, let's do it. Counting up. Make sure that's not going to stop early. All right, team. 10 seconds. Let's do this. You can't see me, but I'm going to pick up my sandbag here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's do it. Ready, team? Let's listen to Jim.
Take full responsibility for what happens to you. It's one of the highest forms of human maturity, accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood, the day you accept full responsibility. And another note, learn to reap in the fall without apology. Without apology. If you do well, and without complaint if you don't. That's maturity. I used to have that long list of reasons why I wasn't doing well. To explain. You got to explain, right? Otherwise you're going to look bad. I used to have this funny list called Reasons for Not Looking Good.
We've all got it.
I used to blame the government. I mean, you can believe that or not. It was at the top of my list. I had a lecture second to none. The government. That was on my list. I used to blame taxes. Look what you got left after they take everything. And they expect you to do well. That was on my list there. Prices, that one's easy, right? You walk into the supermarket with $20, come out with a little half bag. So I had that on my list. I used to blame the weather. I blamed the traffic. I used to blame my car. I blamed the manufacturers. I used to blame the company. I blamed company policy. I used to blame the training program. I blame my negative relatives. They were always putting me down. I blame my cynical neighbors. They're just selfish, looking out for themselves. Won't loan you money? They were on my list. I used to blame the economy. I blamed the community. That's a pretty good list for not doing well, isn't it? I thought it was good. I'll never forget one day, Mr. Schoaf was very kind, but he was also very blunt. And this was no exception. And I'm glad he was blunt. There's a lot of things I'd have missed if he hadn't have been blunt. One day, with sort of a curious look on his face, he said, "Jim, just out of curiosity, tell me, how come you haven't done well up until now?" Excellent question. I thought, well, so I won't look too bad, I'll go through my list. And this list I just gave you, I put that on him. And he was very patient. He let me go through the whole thing, the government, the weather. I went through this whole thing. When I finished, he looked my list over very carefully. He said, "Mr. Rohn, big problem with your list. You ain't on it."
Think about it.
How brilliant. When I went to work for him a few months later, I learned very quickly to tear up my list, reasons for not doing well, and I threw it away. And I got me a fresh piece of paper. And I put one word on it. Me. There's a Black Heritage spiritual that says, "It's not my mother nor my father, nor my brother nor my sister, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer." See, I used to blame everything outside. And then let me give you a little philosophy that helped turn my life around. For your notes, here it is. It's not what happens that determines the quality or the quantity of your life. It's not what happens. And the reason is because what happens happens to about everybody. No different. The sun went down on all of us last night. A common event, a happening. And I found out that the same things can happen to two different people. One gets rich and one stays poor. Why is that? It's because it's not what happens, but rather it's what you do that changes everything.
Seems simple.
So that's a key phrase. It's not what happens, it's what you do. What happens is about the same. You might put that in parentheses here. Same. What people do, that's what's different. Anything can happen, right? Everything can happen. I've heard all the stories. I've been one of the stories. Hey, we could all tell stories all night long, right? Happenings. Anything can happen. Have you heard of Murphy's Laws? Anybody here heard of Murphy's Laws? Okay, most of you have. Murph had these laws. One of them was, if anything can go wrong, it will. That's one of Murphy's laws. He was not one of the great positive speakers of the day. But anyway, it's still true though, right? Anything can go wrong, everything can go wrong. For sure. I've fallen out of the sky so many times. Once to the tune of a couple of million. Devastating. Took me a while to survive that one. Now, it wasn't all that much, but it was all I had. Right? I mean, that's when it's much, right? When it's all you got. If you got 3, 2 go, you got 1 left, you ain't looking that bad. But when it all goes. Has anybody been there when it all went? Anybody? Come on, the rest of you liars. Go ahead. Hey, we've all been there, right? When it all went. Of course, it used to be a long time ago, right? When you ran out of money, got to 0, you were all through. Heck, now you can whistle right on by 0, right? I mean, they will bury you. That's what they will do. But see, those are the happenings, right? Everything can happen. Anything can happen. But it's not the happenings. It's what you do about it. Somebody says, yeah, but you don't understand the disappointments I've had. Come on. Everybody's had their share. Disappointments are not special gifts reserved for the poor. Everybody has them. The difference is what you do about them. It's not the weather. I used to blame the weather, and I discovered it rains on the rich. So see, that won't help. 2 men wake up one morning, there's a rainstorm on. One of them looks out his window, sees the rainstorm, and he says, wow, what a storm. With weather like this, they can't expect you to go out and make sales. He stays home. Same morning, the other guy looks out his window, sees the same storm, says, wow, what a storm. But he says, you know what, with weather like this, what a great day to go out and make sales. Most everybody will probably be home. Especially the salesman. See, that's the difference in how your life works out. It's not what happens, it's what you do. So here's one of the key questions of the evening. Starting tomorrow, what are you going to do that'll make a change in your life's direction? Good question. What are you going to do starting tomorrow that'll make a difference? Now see, if you don't do something starting tomorrow that'll make a difference, guess what? It's gonna be the same. And see, that way you can guess what the next 5 years are going to be like. Look at the last 5. Because the next 5 are going to be like the last 5 unless you, major key, tomorrow, change it all. Or change a little, or change something, or don't change. It's choice time. You can do whatever you want. But it's nice to know any day you wish you can change your whole life. What can you do starting tomorrow that'll make a difference? Good question. What can you do with economic chaos, massive disappointment? What can you do with a broken heart? What can you do when it won't work? Good question.
All right, so there's number 1. Keep holding your sandbag. Uh-oh. What's happening? Jody's saying, still holding the sandbag. Hope coach hasn't been abducted. Policy violations. Ruh-roh. Oh, shoot. This stream has been temporarily blocked. What? Oh, shoot. Ruh-roh. How do we fix that? Shoot. Hello, hello, hello. What the fuck?
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient. Hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement. The top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when
I'm not really sure what to do here.
Thousand faces. Hey, give me that crown. Get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it. The music fits. I'm losing shit. Stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Yeah, there's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each do what they, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me
Jeez. This is not going to be a fun video to replay. Okay, I'm not really sure. You know what? We're not going to watch another one there. I'm not really sure why that happened. But good morning, Talia. Well, let's just do this. We'll just chat. So obviously, those of you that were here already, we're talking about if you want change, right? If there is something, it's so weird. If I don't know if it's worth trying the other one. I don't really know. I mean, you're kind of giving YouTube, you're giving credit because you're showing somebody else's video. Like, I'm not trying to say it's my video, but I guess that's no good. So the topic, though, what we're talking about, see if we can get to 20 minutes with Adam talking and not going crazy here. But, you know, I hear a lot of people say they want to do things, right? Oh, someday I'd like to, yeah, they'd like to, you know, quit their job. They'd like to get out of that relationship. You know, they'd like to do their dream work, whatever it is. And it's like, well, when the conditions become perfect, or when I find the time, or when this thing ends, I'm going to be able to do it, you know, because then I'll have the mental space. But what I have learned is that that time never comes, right? If you don't assign yourself the time, and what this comes from is prioritization. We have confused that word, right? The word priority means first, means prior to, it means before other things, before everything. Yet we make a list of priorities that includes more than one thing. The thing that I have learned is that when you have too many things that you're focusing on, none of them get the attention that they should. Hearken, I'm going to bed. Okay. Have a good sleep. So, if, you know, we talk about the concept of the one thing a lot, that there's this question that you can ask yourself, what's the one thing that by doing so now makes everything else easier or unnecessary? And what you'll find is if you define your goals and then you define that one thing step, that's what happens. Is that as long as you do that one thing, if it's the right thing and the most important thing, that doing so makes those other decisions or questions unnecessary. It makes it clear, it does it for you, whatever you want. So, you know, what Jim is talking about there, I don't know why we weren't able to watch that, it's pretty frustrating, is that, like, you've got this one life, right? And nobody else is going to do it for you. So make that change, right? You hear it all the time that, you know, there are books that people have written, they've spent time with the dying, they've spent time in a hospice or whatever, and they ask the dying, what are your biggest regrets? And it's always the same answers. It's that, I didn't spend enough time with the people that I loved, and that I didn't do that thing. I didn't take the chance. I didn't go for it. Whatever that thing was, do I want to look back and say, my life was moderate, it was okay, but I wish I would have done this. This is what I was meant for. This was my purpose. I wish I would have taken the steps and started. But, we either think that there's going to be more time, or that, it's not possible. You think that that thing is too big and you don't have the resources yet and you need to wait, and, maybe you can't even do it. When the reality is, if you commit yourself to it, if you decide you're going to do it, one, that's generally enough to take you through the challenges and the hurdles. But even more so than that, once you start, right, you have the tools to start. One of our mental reps in the morning is, I have all I need to succeed today. Then I'll focus on progress over perfection. I don't need to succeed, with the end goal. I just need to succeed with my task today. I just need to be able to take that step. And what you'll find is that you have the tools for step one, right? Step one, maybe sitting down and writing a plan. Step one, maybe brainstorming. Step one, maybe just reading a book. And once you complete step one, step two becomes accessible because you develop the tools or the skills or the connections or whatever it is that you were missing for step two before you started step one. Once you start taking those steps, you recognize that the skills build and that you have all you need for that end goal. But the main point is, the end goal is not the goal. The goal is the step. The goal is the action that you have control over now that adds up over time to become that goal. So, for example, my goals, I'll give you some goals maybe. My goal with this channel, is to create a community of people that eventually, we deliver enough value for, that we can generate revenue from, to eventually, support our lifestyle, basically. And if I look at that as my goal tomorrow, I'll become overwhelmed, anxious, upset about it, because it's not realistic. But if I focus on my daily task, which is try to provide some value in these videos, in just this single day, the one that I can control right now, then I've done my task. If I make sure that, these are getting better and they're aiming in the right direction, and every once in a while I look up and iterate, I assess and make change if necessary, then these steps over time are going to add up to that goal. There's no way that we don't become successful if we take the steps. The way that the reason we don't have success is because we quit. Right? If I stop, there's no way I'm going to get to that goal. So know that if there's something in your life that's missing, there's a goal that, if you're going to look back at the end of your life and be upset that you didn't achieve, then take the steps, right? Take the step, the first step, commit yourself to it. Say no to all the other things, because this is an important one. If you have a priority one, that means you have to say no to all the other things, right? Saying yes to something is saying no to something else. So when you say yes to, going out and partying, whatever it is, you're saying no to the work that you could be doing. You're saying no to the progress that you could be making. And I know that's just a small example, but it's true. When you choose one thing, you say no to another. So if you're not reaching your goals, it's because you're saying yes to too many things that aren't in line with the goals. So the main point here today is, like, life is whatever you make of it. Your goals are realistic if you take the steps to get to them. And, you know, a reminder for me is that don't get to the end and not have done those things. Right? If you keep doing what you're doing now, you're going to get the same results you're getting. If there's a change that you want to make, start taking the steps. Start making that change. And the skills that you need to get there, you will develop, and you're going to get there over time. So we're going to put this down. That's 21 and a half minutes. Although there was a very brief break in there where I didn't know what the hell was going on. This is not going to be a good replay video. But not bad for those of you that were here, experienced this challenge with us. Let's take a couple minutes and stretch here. Good job, team. You know, a good point to be taken from this. Let's get our moments of clarity here. Let's do a little straddle. So what you're gonna aim to do, and Talia, this is probably something that you can do very well as a dancer. You're gonna sit in a straddle position. You can push yourself forward a little bit from behind to try to open up a little bit more. And then you can hold your hands behind you if you feel like you're gonna fall backwards, or you can hold them out in front, which will be a little more challenging. Let's get that clock fixed. Oh, discombobulated session here. But what we can take away is that, like, so be it. You know, that's a perfect reminder today that not all the steps that you're gonna take on this journey are gonna be perfect and smooth, right? Sometimes this happens. Sometimes, you know, we are gonna have other hiccups, I'm sure. But if that is the reason that you fall off, then you're gonna struggle getting to your goals. But if you're able to roll with the punches, you know, and make some, you know, understand that there are gonna be some non-perfect steps and, you know, days that are challenging, then, you know, you're gonna stay with it. You're gonna keep on the process as opposed to giving up and quitting. Because, you know, if something like this happened a couple times near the beginning, like, that could be a frustrating enough challenge that, you know, you consider throwing in the towel. But we're not gonna do that, right? We're just gonna keep going tomorrow, and, you know, maybe I'll do a little research into why that happened. Don't really understand, because we have shown videos here before. It's funny, you guys obviously lost the stream for a bit. I was seeing those comments and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's see how long that section was. That was probably like 5 minutes. Sheesh. Either way, those of you watching the replay, I'm sure you haven't gotten to this point in the video, but thanks for hanging out if you did, because that was, what did it show? Is it just a blank screen at that point? Teapot, good morning. How you doing? We're just hanging out in our stretch post Sandbag Carry, which was a little bit disjointed this morning. But Jody says no sandbags were dropped though. I hung on to mine for a while until I started trying to type. So I maybe put mine down for 30 seconds to a minute. I could call myself a failure, but so be it. We tried to get the stream back on. So be it. All right, so let's hang out here still for a minute. Feel free to, what I would love is if you wanted to post, you know, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What is something that if you didn't achieve, you know, if you were laying on your deathbed and you didn't do that thing, what would it be? What would be the big thing that you would regret not having done? Teapot says, doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you today? We are doing fantastic. Every day that we get up alive, we're making progress. Teapot, if you go back, you'll notice that the stream had a little bit of an issue this morning. We were watching a video, and I guess it just cut out. I guess YouTube decided that it was not I don't know, not our video, not sure. But we're still here. We're still here doing it. Talia, I'm going to read those messages you got. I remember when I was traveling over borders in Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, you have to write what your profession is on the cards. I wrote down I was a photographer, even though I was an amateur. I actually became a professional photographer, showcasing my Tibetan hill tribe photography. Very cool. Showcasing in one of the biggest galleries, law of attraction almost. Believe in what you love and becomes real. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I mean, that's another great point, and I've actually got a video about that on the Health Unscripted playlist that I think it's called like The System Wants Your Best Years. But the point is, and this was actually another Jim Rohn quote, you know, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And the idea is just that, you know, if, you know, like the thing that is important to you, the thing that fires you up, the thing that you're passionate about, that's what you should be doing. You know, living or working in the gym, you know, seeing a lot of people who don't necessarily like their jobs, right? They followed the route that we're told we should, you know, go to school, go to get a good job with stability and whatever. And a lot of people where I'm from work for the government for that security, but they don't like what they do. Half of them don't even know what they do, to be honest. They have no purpose. And I think that, you know, working for 30, 40 years on something that is not firing you up, something that you are not passionate about, something that isn't in line with who you think you are and what your purpose is, like, to me, that's a massive waste of time. It is a massive loss of life that, you know, you don't have that much of. So to do something that doesn't fire you up for that many hours in your life, it to me just seems like we might as well not even be here. Like, we've completely missed the point. So, you know, if you're not doing the thing you love, like, yeah, there are going to be challenges changing. You know, it's very easy to be stuck in a job and, you know, comfortable but unhappy, right? So you don't need to make a giant leap and switch that right away. What you can start doing is working on it on the side and building it up to the point where you can take that step, that leap. Or even better, if you're young and you haven't started a long career and you haven't dedicated a lot of time to something that's not important to you, make that choice now, right? Choose the thing that is so important. Choose the thing that fires you up. And, you know, they say if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And that's not true, right? You work, but you work towards something important. You work towards your purpose, and there's success, right? If you are working towards something important, like whether you achieve it or not, you have a reason for being. You know, I don't want my reason for being to be I'm a cog in a giant system and I don't see the impact of the change that I make, and the population that I'm trying to help, the impact that I'm trying to have, I have no say in. Like, for me, that's not the point. It's not the point of being here. I think the point of being here is making progress towards your purpose. And that's when we are content. That's when we are happy. And your purpose could be, you know, raise the best family you can. It could be anything. As long as what you're doing is in line with that and you feel like you are making progress in your life, then I feel like that's what success is. So let's hop up here. We've been in that for a while. Maybe you're gonna attack me when I get up. Yep. Kick me in the crotch. Thank you. Let's go ahead and okay, Maple. Getting up slow here. Hamstrings are a little Maple. I don't even thank you. Ooh. Wow. Okay. I think I have a little clip for you here. We're not going to put that video back on, though. Let's see. No, that's yesterday. Sorry. Okay, I got a little clip for you before we run away. And then we're going to be doing some pistols, vertical, in, 20 minutes or so. 25 minutes. Here we go. I got a little clip of how cold it's getting. There we go. So this was yesterday morning. That's the cow and ram water. Not thick ice yet, but it is, we are cooling down for sure. All of the machines are being unhappy. I don't think we get any excitement there, but those boys are definitely getting frisky. The girls, not so much. But we are getting pretty close to winter operations. Today is November 8th. Yeah, by this time next month, more or less everybody will be in one group. Well, maybe a couple more days after a month, the boys will probably go in. We went in December 10th last year is when we put them in. But I kind of want to do it a little bit later so that lambs show up kind of mid-May, 5-month cycle there. So that is, I think, the only clip I've got for you for today. So we'll end on this same note, right? The theme today is nice and consistent, that if you've got a goal in your life, maybe you've forgotten that goal. Maybe you've let it kind of take a back seat because life got in the way, right? You started being an adult and having responsibilities, and those goals became, I don't know, maybe someone calls them silly, calls them, this is unrealistic, or it's too big, or whatever. Nothing's too big if you take the steps, if you break it down into its pieces and just stack them up. There's no reason why you can't achieve whatever you want. So don't get to the end of your life and have regrets about what you haven't done. Right? Take the steps, go for it. To me, it just seems so obvious that why would you not? So let's see how you guys are doing here, and then we are gonna hit it. Let's see, equipment was talking about, missed some stuff here. The stream is restored, but yes, chatting too. Is that the book about manufactured trifecta of tastes, Jody? I'm curious about that. Fat, sugar, salt, I guess crunch and umami too. Oh, I feel like I've heard something about that. But fat and salt, get it. Talia, I remember when I was traveling, I got that. Love what you work, you become a shepherd. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, right? Like, I think anybody who knew me prior to, me becoming a farmer would have said that becoming a shepherd, becoming a farmer was a pretty big thing. It was a pretty big change from where I was. But, I'm not the type of person to think about that, and I just take the steps towards the things that I want to do. And now we're here, right? It took small steps over time, but now we're here and still making steps and getting better and getting bigger and improving. But that's it, right? You just choose the thing that is important to you. And I think you're better off not knowing why you shouldn't be able to do it, right? Some people would say, hey, like, oh, you shouldn't be able to do it like that. I don't know what I don't know, and that's good, right? Just take the steps, learn about the challenges as you go if you want, but if you freeze because of the analysis of it, then you never get there. So just start taking steps. Learn process, no worries. It's a fine line, goals versus forcing outcomes. Expand on that, Jason. What do you mean by that? Getting to Glacier National is a good goal. Not lofty, but on my list. Yeah, that's just a little bucket list item. You got it. I mean, I kind of look at it as more of an overall picture, like what do I want my life to look like? What types of things are there? What types of things are not there? And how do I create that picture? Here, I agree. Jason, yes, I have some feelings towards our government, as do I. I think everybody does, right? I mean, a government is never going to be something that everybody is happy about. And also understanding that the government's goals are not your goals. So That's why it's important to take accountability and take responsibility for yourself so that you're not relying on some external system like the government or whatever for you to be successful in your endeavors, in your goals. All right. Want to do winter fencing? Jason, if you want to, I'm here. Talia says, I love all the seasons. Snowboard season, yeah. Yeah, I used to snowboard a lot. Like when I was in like high school, we would have seasons passes and I'd go all the time. I have less interest now, but also just am more busy. But whoa. But I would like to go maybe once or twice, I'm sure. I'm sure the wife would enjoy that. It'll be tough with the little girls this year yet though. Being with you this week has really changed a part of my life and I can't thank you enough. That's awesome. You're amazing. And all amazing, beautiful tribe. I ain't going nowhere. Feeling blessed. Yeah, we are definitely developing a nice little community here. You guys are all really fantastic. And I say it every day, but I appreciate you guys being here so much. So, Jody, Fast Food Nation. So good. Read it. Okay. I'm unfamiliar with that book as well. I don't eat any fast food, but interesting. Jason, you shouldn't have to do anything. Just do it organically, flowing in life. Love it. Government goals are the Democratic voted goals, Adam. You know that's not true, Jason. Supposed to be, but I mean, it's impossible to do that, right? To maintain everything that everybody wanted that voted for you. Not possible. All right. We're going to shut her down here. Talk about what we got on tomorrow. Hey, there's 6 of you here and only 4 likes. Let's get a couple more likes before we run away. It has been a slow morning. We need a couple more likes before we go. And we've got our active recovery session tomorrow with a little bit of hanging on the bar. We're going to do some plank to crab transitions, just getting a little bit of movement to set ourselves up for success for Monday. And remember, I'll be back on here in about 17 minutes or so doing some pistols. I'm just trying to drum up a little bit more attention for our tribe, for our crew. So feel free to hang out there and talk trash and whatever. And hopefully we'll get about 45 minutes or so there. And then tomorrow, active recovery. And we'll be doing something similar as well afterwards tomorrow. I just haven't decided what movement that is yet. Unless you guys have any ideas for what kind of movement we want to do on the vertical stream tomorrow. Snowboarding with your wife and children will be amazing. Yeah, a few more years, I think. I think the one's a little young right now, but that'll be fun. I will break down forcing outcomes versus goals via Messenger. Forcing outcomes versus goals. Forcing out. I'm thinking about it now. I think you want to force your outcomes, right? In order to reach your goals. Curious. All right. Well, thank you so much for putting up with the challenges this morning and our little technical difficulties. And hopefully we'll be a little smoother tomorrow. Love you guys. Thanks for showing up. Have a great Saturday if I don't see you on the vertical. Peace.